Buon anno, Venezia. Salute. And there we have what we will now call Les Toilettes, as evidenced last night by the frequent defecation of the party revelers who had nowhere else to go, so they decided to grace us from our room with our frequent urination. That's why they say don't drink the water. It's a beautiful day in Venice, as if there's anything other than a beautiful day in Venice. Especially gorgeous today with your bright sunshine. This is a picture from our room on the Grand Canal at the Albergo al Ponte Antico. Beautiful view. One of the numerous vaporetto, the city's buses, water buses. We've been able to get around pretty easily on the vaporetto. Haven't made any wrong moves there. However, walking around to find a destination can be a little tricky for the first-time Venice traveler, as we found. We have found everywhere we wanted to go, sometimes taking 2 to 3 times longer than it should have. However, once you find your destination, getting back to the Rialto Bridge is very simple, since it's the seems to be the second focal point of the city. The Rialto Bridge and St. Mark's Square. Those are the two most notable spots in the city. So it does make it easy for us since we're right next to one of them. See one of the many gondolas. We did take a gondola ride last night. In true form, the Italians tried to take advantage of the Americans, me and Lisa, and overcharge us for a gondola ride. However, our proprietor of the hotel let us know that to expect that and what the proper charge should be. So we walked away from the overpriced gondola ride, only to be chased down by the gondoliere, who then gave us the correct price, which we accepted, and we took a very romantic ride on a gondola for 80 euro instead of the 100 euro we were quoted. It was very nice, very peaceful, very quiet. All through the inner canals. Just at the end we come out to the Grand Canal, so not bothered by a bunch of boats or almost tipped over by an ambulance like we just witnessed a few minutes ago. However, the gondolier that we had kind of loses a little bit of the flavor. As you can see, it's just not quite the same when your gondoliere is on his cell phone, as you can see here, and as witnessed by our gondoliere, Matteo, who was on his cell phone as he maneuvered through the canals of Venice. It's just something about that is a contradiction. But that's the new Venice, I guess. One hand on an oar, the other on your cell phone. But it was enjoyable nonetheless. Quite satisfying knowing that we didn't overpay the €100, even though that's what I did give him anyway, just to prove a point that I wasn't afraid to pay €100, but I just don't want to be taken advantage of like so many tourists they obviously are successful in doing. So yesterday was quite full day as we took an early vaporetto out to Murano. Excuse me, we went to Burano first, the land of brightly colored homes. After Burano and some visits to several lace stores and some beautiful purchases, we then went to Murano, the home of all the Venice glass factories, where we enjoyed a few hours in Murano. Took another vaporetto back to Venice, where we stopped and had, the usual snacks, and then we took our gondola ride and came back to the hotel freshened up, and we traveled to La Scuola San Giovanni Evangelista, where we enjoyed 3 hours of selections of operas from Puccini, Verdi, and Mozart. It's quite beautiful. And we rang in the new year at that beautiful setting. And we quickly raced home to the hotel so as to not be hit by the tsunami of 80,000 people all squeezed into St. Mark's Square to ring in the new year. We slept in deliciously till 9 a.m. Went and had a delicious omelet, complete with eggs from Matteo's grandmother's farm. And we get a few shots here, and we're about headed out to La Isola San Lazzaro. So we're going to go take a trip to San Lazzaro in the Armenian monastery. Ah, there you have it. City of Love. Buon anno. Alright, we're here. Yep. There he is, Abate Mekatar.
Let's go inside just in case there's someone in there.
Founded the Armenian monastery here.
Lord Byron.
There's careful, there's ice on that.
Oh, is there really?
On
You
that.
slipped?
Yes.
Are you okay?
Well, I didn't fall. I wasn't anticipating it. Guess not. A little late. Turn the lights off.
Mais non, on ne le parle pas. Mais non. Ah oui, je suis.
A cefala perché le donne bisogna tagliare tutte
Come la nicchia di sono traccia. A cefala raffinatissima.
perché normalmente no, si mettevano all'ultimo momento.
L'ora di passeraglia, della passeraglia e il circuito 4 minuti prima perché sta Venezia e Parigi, stanno bene.
Vous êtes déjà venu? Oui, il y a 8 ans, oui.
1er janvier.
Pardon.
2000. Oui, c'est là où il y a... C'est pas le
qui è il piccolo museo che abbiamo all'Istituto di Arte e di Storia Armenia, abbiamo oggetti in questa parte, uratei, che sono portati dall'Armenia. Gli uratei erano gli abitanti dell'Armenia prima di noi. Allora possiamo parlare tranquillamente di 3.000 anni di storia, perché la nostra presenza in Armenia risale al X secolo. Noi li abbiamo dominati, ma senza massacrare, signora mia. Non abbiamo fatto niente, anche se lei vede quel lemmo, non l'abbiamo dato noi a quel corpo di grazia, l'avrà ricevuto da altri durante altre battaglie. Gli uratei sono, diciamo, i nostri predecessori nella terra di Armenia. Questa collezione di un famoso pittore russo di origine africana, Ayvazovsky. Dietro che anche qui l'église n'existe pas, mais comme on est venu. Et après des objets ecclésiastiques arméniens de 1500-1600, ce sont les objets céramiques arméniens de carrière. Ce sont de 1600 jusqu'à 1915. Parce que vous savez qu'en 1915, il y a eu le temps de une chose très importante pour les Arméniens, entre Arméniens aussi. Alors, vous savez que, vous savez que le dernier roi arménien était français.
Oui,
Le bon Junien. Alors, c'est de ça que le bon 6 de Junien.
Ah oui. Il est enterré à Saint-Denis.
Bravissima. Alors, il est mort en 1375. Alors, il était le dernier roi. Et après lui, nous n'avons pas eu autre roi. Nous avons eu seulement des invasions de Mongols, Tatars, Seljuk, Mamlouks, Arabes, Turco-Ottomans. So, beginning from here, I was showing this sword. This particular one, especially, is very important to our history because this was the sword of our last Armenian king. My Armenians know him, and they have seen also his tomb. His name was Levon VI Lusignan. He was French Armenian. He was French, but he was the king of Armenia. And he died in 1375, and he died in Paris, and he is buried in the basilics of Saint Denis, where all the French kings are buried. So among them, French kings. They said, unfortunately, after him, we didn't have any other king. We had only invasions up to 1915, when I did not mention in English, because I guess you have heard about our genocide. It was the first, unfortunately, of the 20th century. But the most odd, strange thing is that in our case, until now, it is not recognized. It is denied by the Turks who have done it, committed and done it. So among the 2 million Armenians who were living in Turkey at that time, in the beginning of the 20th century, 1.5 million were killed in a very barbaric manner, in the desert of Syria. And well, almost 500,000 were escaped. So first in Lebanon, Syria, and then afterwards, especially in France and many other countries in the world. Well, until now, well, from these 2 million of Armenians, if somebody asked the Turks, where are those? If they were 2 million in 1915, where are the Armenians now? Well, we don't know. There's only a small community in Istanbul of 45,000 Armenians. That's it. So, and until now, they're not only denying it, they're telling everybody, well, they were the Armenians who killed the Turks. Nobody knows how come the Armenians killed the Turks, and were we so cowards? No, I don't think so. Nonetheless, so after the genocide in 1918, we reacted and we created our first Republic of Armenia in 1918, since 1921. Then, unfortunately, the Russian army, the Soviet army arrived, and we were next to the Soviet regime until 1991. So since 1991, we are an independent republic. So this is a curtain from an ancient Armenian church. It was done in the year 1642, stamped Methodist stamp. Obviously, the church does not exist anymore because, as you can imagine, the church can only destroy; they cannot build. Do you agree with that? Yes. Well, I can tell you also, during the Ottoman Empire, they were very famous, the Armenian architects. Actually, they are architects, two of them, two families of them were very famous. And they were trying to tell now the historians that they were Turks. Sinanian, and Malian. They were Armenians. So finally, I guess during the last decade, they were Armenian origin. For example, Sinan was that who has built the Blue Mosque, and the Balian had built really many houses, especially the Dolma Bahçe and many other mosques for the sultans. Yeah, well, we can, you know why? Because the Holocaust was considered what was done in front of the European eye, so in Europe, it was the heart of Europe. But in our case, it was not only here, it was far from the eyes, and it was also during the First World War. So everybody was engaged in another problem. But nonetheless, I don't know if there's any the Kaiser. Okay. We have, well, fortunately we have many documents, even in Germany, for example. And Hitler, when he was preparing the Holocaust of the Jews, he said, really, the word he used were, when he was organizing with his generals, he said to his generals, ma lei signora mia, lei deve stare. Yeah, she's preceding me, yes. Oh, yeah, she speaks English, French, everything. Oh, thank you. Yes, who remembers now all those things that the Turks have done to the Armenians? Nobody, so let's go. Over there, this object we brought them from Armenia. They belong to the Venetian civilization.
That's cool.
Which was the Urartu. They were those who were living in Armenia before us. So I said they had the sword is from 1375. Well, the king died in 1375.
1375.
Well, then Armenian ecclesiastical objects that we use, and especially these ceramics, they were done by Armenians up to 1915 in Kütahya. It was very famous, the Kütahya. Today it is in Turkey, southeast, 190 kilometers more or less, southeast to Istanbul. No problem at all. We don't have anything to do about this. Because our homeland was up to those regions that are now in the Lake Van. And if you go to 300 kilometers to Van, west of Van, and to north, so Sivas, where our founder was born, Van, and all back to east were all Armenian. All those territories for 3,000 years were Armenian. So I said that today the Kurds that are claiming their independent big Kurdistan, well, the territories that they are claiming in Turkey, they were all Armenian. But since they were those also who killed us, massacred us, because they were Muslims, so the Turks in 1915 told them, go on and deport them first. Take them out of their homeland, and then you'll have their patrimony and their land, you, the Kurds, and what they have done. So, once that the Armenians were thrown out of Armenia, the majority were Kurds. So that's why today the majority of all those regions are Kurds. It's true, but you have to know the history. You know why? You know that from.
Fascinating. That's absolutely fascinating. The first genocide of the 20th century. 1.5 million Armenians slaughtered by the Turks.
Alors c'est 10% de notre livre nous avons des livres en langue européenne. Ils sont des livres de 1700-1600. Il était la collection de notre fondateur ici, ces livres. So these are one kind of our library that we have on this
Very
island.
nice.
So, what I forget.
No flash, that's
Here we
good.
have 80,000. They were the selection of our founder. They are books printed in the 15 and 1600s. 15 and 1600. Oui, nous avions jusqu'à 1980. Non, nous avons fait des éditions en 6. Oui, dès la fondation, mais nous avons eu l'imprimerie ici sur l'île de Saint-Lazare en 1772.
C'est arrêté en 94.
En 1900. 1900.
Oui, c'est ça. On se met en 1965 et il y avait la C'était, oui.
Yes, these are specialties. So the city were all from the School of Theatre. We had the fire in 1975. So unfortunately, all this part was burned, but nothing happened to our books. Fortunately, all in that part where we have created this part of museum, they were our manuscript that we're going to see that. Fortunately, there was a French Armenian, not this, French Armenian benefactor who built a new park in 1967, and in 75 we had the fire. Otherwise, all our manuscripts would have been burned. De ça, Franța a business, mes pargarma, mezi masă și nazev, aici o serafimul nec, o hada de atunci, eu s-am spus nimic, eu s-am spus nimic, acolo, serafimul de aici, la scuola Tiepolo, mi raccomando, l'école de Jean-Baptiste Tiepolo. Per noi, Jean-Baptiste Tiepolo. Abbiamo anche il collegio armenio, Morat Rafael, anche lì ci sono tanti freschi del Tiepolo. E anche qua adesso vi faccio vedere, signora Miele, che è il mio braccio destro. Questo, ma quando, non guardate quando sto scendendo, questo è un quadro del Tiepolo, che raffigura la faccia del Battista. L'abbiamo portato dal palazzo del nostro. Alors c'est un des cadres de Tiepolo qui nous ont porté de notre palais, ici qui est l'école arménienne Morat Rafael. Bon exemple de palais vénitien, Casa Nobbio. C'est un des cadres de Tiepolo, qui représente la pédagogie. So this is this painting we brought it from Palazzo Venorio, where we have a school here in Venice. It represents peace and justice. One of the good examples of Tiepolo. Unico di Lavorio, che è lavorato da un monaco buddista per 20, sono 14 palline uno dentro dell'altro, ma non è una matriosca, signora mia. E quello è il nostro caro doge che ci ha regalato l'isola, doge Mocenico, e questo invece è il nostro Napoléon III, amico della congregazione militarista, e avant lui Napoleon I era amico della congregazione, infatti non ci ha toccati, ed è per quello che abbiamo conservato tutto, grazie, posso dire, no, perché grazie a Napoleone, suona un po' suona.
Ha distrutto Venezia,
No,
ha salvato, penso che niente, ha venduto Venezia all'Austria, ma pace.
Non ho detto niente, non traduco niente, signora, lei non traduca niente. Alors j'ai dit que bon, c'est le cadre de Tiepolo, le Deutsch qui nous a donné l'île de Saint-Lazare et Napoléon III, qui était un ami, et avant lui Napoléon Ier était aussi un ami pour nous, parce qu'il nous a pas touché. Nous avons eu un édicte de Napoléon qui était écrit signé en 1810 à Saint-Cloud, où il a dit qu'aucune personne entre dans l'île de Saint-Lazare parce que c'est une académie et un centre culturel. So, did you get my message? So this is the table, one of the tables that we brought from our school. It represents peace and justice. This is the Deutsch who donated us the island. He was the admiral at the time when our founder was in Greece, in that city which was under the dominion of the Venetians in Modone. And then when he came here, he was elected Deutsch, and so that's how we had this island. And this is Napoleon III.
Ça, c'est tout à l'eau. Encore toute chose pour lui.
Ah oui, tout est pour moi.
Le premier de toi. C'est le cheveu.
Bien conservé.
Quando scende, appena scende dalla scala, c'è poi in fondo a destra e poi subito a sinistra. Bon, nous avons eu le premier infirmier militariste, mais avant nous, il était aussi, il y avait ici une communauté arménienne. Oui, par rapport à Arménie, mais nous n'étions pas le premier que nous avons imprimé en arménien, des livres en arménien. Je vous montre maintenant qui était le monsieur qui a fait le premier livre en arménien. Bon, nous sommes très braves, très importants, mais nous n'avons pas eu la possibilité de faire du tout, malheureusement. So, in this room, you see the famous poet, English poet, Lord Byron. Are you English? So he came here, when he was in Venice, almost 2 years and a half, in the 1816 until 1818, he was coming 3 or 4 times a week in our island in order to learn Armenian, because he was a lover of the Oriental culture, especially the Greek and the Armenian. So that's why he wanted to learn Armenian. And in this room, he was learning Armenian. That's why, until now, we call this room Lord Byron's room. This is a copy of his portrait from the British Museum. And he also used to come here. I'll tell you now. He used to come. No, there was not this gentleman. He used to come also here in our island to have some relax and perhaps to meditate. So that's why we have a corner in this island that until now we call it Lord Byron's corner, or hill. We call it hill. It's 1 meter more. I can show it from here. Then afterwards, in 1825, a rich Armenian who was living in Egypt donated this Egyptian mummy. He was not Armenian, unfortunately. Sorry about him and about for us. But he was Egyptian. This mummy has 3,500 years, and according to the Egyptologists, the specialists who came here many times, and they gave us the certification. The last group was French Egyptologists in 1996. They came, they opened, they examined it, and they told us that this mummy is one of the best preserved in Europe. So you don't have it in the British Museum. No.
Do we know?
Oh, yes, we do.
Pardon me?
Do we know who he is?
Yes, he was a functionary of the pharaoh. He was quite young when he died. I guess the time Ramses second or I guess second or third, more I don't know, more or less in that time. He was quite old when he died. See, he was 26 years old. For that time, he was very, very old. Yes. So how about me? 48. So I have to be buried now. But well, this is it. But the pearls also are original. Please don't argue, because usually they are the Germans who argue. No, once
I might end up like this.
no, really everything is original. Well, I can also tell you that we don't treat him differently. So there is nothing special inside here. So for almost 200 years he is living with us. He's breathing just the same air as I'm breathing now, or you are breathing. So he's 1 month plus. So we're not 35, we're 35 plus 1. He doesn't speak. He's really the best monk I don't.
Best monk.
Also, in Scandinavian bases, you see where the Egyptian part was put the small divinity, small object, and the cat. And in this part, we have also maintained his. They were found in the sarcophagus. His teeth and this small piece, ma'am. Do you know what it is? I guess this lady should know. Mia signora, il numero 50, dai che lei sa di tutto di più. Ma ha messo la mano dove? Ha messo la mano dove? Dove che ha messo la mano? Ma sì, sì, è la parte dentro della capoccia.
Ah, il cervello.
Il cervello.
Stava nel caropo allora.
Sì. So this is the brain. Ma lei signora, lei che signora delle mie brame, oltre a dire chi è il più bello delle brame che è lui, mi dica perché è così piccolo il cervello?
Si è ristretto.
No, è ristretto. Perché così piccolo?
È tutto.
Era un signore. Era un signore, non era una donna.
Non aveva bisogno di
Ecco,
questo.
bravo, che le donne lo pensano al posto degli uomini, bravo. Allora, qui siamo nella stanza dove Lord Byron ha imparato l'armeno, in questa stanza. In questa stanza ha imparato l'armeno. Dove sono gli italiani?
È in gallo, però non ci sono ancora. Siamo in estinzione, però ci siamo.
Sì, ha imparato l'armeno in 2 anni e alla fine ha pubblicato la prima grammatica armeno-inglese, Lord Byron, dal 1816 al 18, per cui lei potrebbe fare in 2 mesi, io penso.
Il suo era più grosso di cervello, 2 anni solo di
Sì,
per Lord Byron, ma non per questo povero disgraziato. Ma dopo, questo Lord Byron era qua dal 1816 al 18, questo invece è stato un dono, un regalo di un ricco armeno dell'Egitto, che era il viceré dell'epoca dell'Egitto. Ci ha regalato questa bella mummia che ha la connotazione di essere molto particolare, perché secondo gli egittologi europei, io penso anche mondiali, è una delle migliori conservate in Europa. Infatti se sarete passati anche dal museo egizio di Torino, tutti i torinesi, anche tutti gli italiani che sono passati per il museo egizio di Torino, dicono che come questo bello, carino, sorridente non l'ha mai visto. Molto perfetto, vedete anche fino i piedini, le dita, le unghie, veramente in perfetto stato. Anzi, ci hanno dato la certificazione gli egittologi che gode di ottima salute, signora. Mortale, gode di ottima salute mortale. Per cui ho detto anche i Vaticanopi, il gattino, e anche qua questo cervellino che è di un essere umano di sesso maschile. No? Se fosse una donna sicuramente avrebbe avuto il doppio. Allora, vous avez compris? No. C'est ici, c'est le salle de Lord Byron, le fameux poète anglais qui était ici. Quand il était à Venise, il était aussi, il était venu dans l'île de Saint-Lazare pour apprendre de langue arménienne. Il était ici à Venise en 1816 jusqu'à 1818. Alors, pendant ce séjour à Venise, il a appris la langue arménienne pendant 2 ans. Mais il ne restait pas ici pendant tous les jours de la semaine. Seulement 3-4 fois de la semaine, il venait ici à Venise, à l'île de Saint-Lazare. Et après, plusieurs fois, nous savons qu'il retournait à Venise.
Ah oui? Il est enterré à Saint-Michel. Il est enterré
Non,
il est
je crois. Il était mort en Grèce.
Il n'est pas enterré là, non?
Je ne crois pas. Je sais qu'il était mort en Grèce dans une bataille contre les Turcs. Bon, et après, c'est une momie, un momie égyptien. Il n'était pas arménien. Mi dispiace, malheureusement, il était égyptien. Alors, c'est une momie qui a 3500 ans. 35 siècles. Et selon les égyptologistes, les étaient français, nous avons donné la certification que c'est un des mieux préservés momies en Europe. Alors, vous ne l'avez pas dans le musée du Louvre. Non, pas l'urne.
Non sono buoni a Louvre.
Come?
Non sono buoni a Louvre, è meglio questo.
Dans le British Museum aussi, il y en a beaucoup de momies, mais il n'y a pas un momie si bon comme
Il est venu ici, il est arrivé ici.
non, bon, c'était une donation. Alors, nous disons en italien, al cavallo donato non si guarda in bocca. Al cavallo donato. Si vous me donnez votre, pas votre, votre maison, bon, vous êtes très gentil alors, j'accepte. Il était très gentil, vous apprenez aussi.
Non, c'est à ce titre-là, il n'y a pas d'explication.
Ah non, il n'y a pas d'explication. Bon, il savait que nous sommes un centre très important, culturel, alors nous avons, vous savez aussi que tous ces livres étaient de la collection de ce monsieur-là. Ce sont très importants. C'est l'exposition de l'Égypte, la description de l'Égypte. Description de l'Égypte de Napoléon. Très important. Je crois qu'il y a 4 exemplaires. La Bibliothèque nationale, nous, il y en a auprès de. Il nous a dit la responsable non, la Bibliothèque nationale de Paris. Alors, c'est un des mieux, et je dis que aussi les feuilles sont originales. Et je montre aussi ici, ce morceau-là, le numéro 53, il était le cerveau de ce monsieur. Et tu sais pourquoi il est ce petit le cerveau? Parce qu'il était un ange. Mi sa vedi bespettuna. Mi sa da impecat avri. Yes, the sarcophagus. But he was put in this sarcophagus. It wasn't his. Somebody else. Yeah. On vit en Arménie, on est à marcher, on met des sirènes. Alors nous avons aussi le manuscrit le plus ancien de tous les manuscrits arméniens. C'est du 7e siècle, 682. C'est l'évangile de la reine Melchior. Il n'est pas en exposition. Mais cet évangile était en exposition.
The camera works better. The camera works better to take several pictures.
Do you want another picture?
Different things.
Il Vangelo, il Vangelo, il Vangelo, del 682, quello che è il Marco. Et je vais montrer les premiers livres en arménien. Ce sont les premiers livres arméniens. Imprimés où? Ici, à Brava, Brava. Et quand?
Ça c'est parce que c'était à cause de l'événement que les enfants c'était l'imprimé, c'est parce que les communautés arméniennes.
Pour les deux raisons. Parce qu'il avait aussi, comme je disais en Italie, il avait une communauté arménienne de 11e siècle. La chapelle que nous avons à Venise, aujourd'hui c'est une petite église. La chapelle, cette église était avant une chapelle, il était une chapelle du 11e siècle. Alors en 11e, dans 1146, un noble vénitien avait donné aux communautés arméniennes cette chapelle. Et après, en sainte roi des Arméniens. Sotrach Hayot. Bon, ce sont imprimés. Ce sont les deux livres, ces deux sont imprimés, et c'est ça aussi, ces deux sont imprimés parce qu'ils étaient les livres imprimés par notre fondateur. Mais tous les autres sont manuscrits. Manuscrits. Bon, 7e siècle, 682, le plus ancien. Et ici, il y a le 11e, 12e projet, vous n'avez pas la technique.
Les volumes d'Arménie, c'est des volumes d'ateliers.
Ce sont tous les volumes d'Arménie, des ateliers arméniens. Le 12e, 3e, 4e. Où? Bon, et là-bas, il y a des manuscrits, pas en langue arménienne, nous avons le perse, éthiopien, arabe antique, le koufite, l'arabe, le grec, le russe, indien, l'hébreu et géorgien. Vous savez que l'Arménie, bon, l'Arménie surtout le Caucase, nous avons les frontières, nous avons à Orient, nous avons Azerbaïdjan. Oh, il y a Rosny. Bon, alors, Azerbaïdjan, Turc, et au Occident, Turquie. Alors, nous avons au nord, la Géorgie. Azerbaïdjan à l'est, à l'ouest, la Turquie, et au sud, l'Iran. Nous avons tous les pays musulmans. Sauf les qui sont, les Géorgiens sont les seuls chrétiens, mais est-ce qu'ils aiment les Arméniens, les Géorgiens?
Non, il n'y a pas.
Mais Gaden.
Yo,
Chelsea, il y a Gaden, Sabot, les Oasis, les Chelsea. Bon, mais la seule nation, même musulmane, qui nous aime, et les Arméniens. Excusez-moi pour vous, Français, maintenant que M. Sarkozy n'aime pas M. Ahmadinejad, ils sont les Iraniens. Ce sont nos amis. Nous sommes. Ah, je ne parle pas pour parler les Azéris, les Azéris et les Turcs. Noi siamo passati da Roma a Capomone per imparare, siamo andati anche alle facoltà universitarie romane come gregoriana da terapia. Mi dicevano ma io prima non sapevo che mamma ha fatto i bagarotti, ho fatto i gnocchi con sugo di bagarotti. So this is the most important part of my so this is the is it good to British? Is it English? But is it aggressive or not? Or I don't know. I had my first teacher here in Venice in 1973. He was a Welshman. So he was teaching us. I was talking a little bit English at that time, but nonetheless, we know English since we were in Lebanon. But he was teaching us English. You know how? At that time, he was teaching us through small pieces of theater, and especially through the songs of the Beatles.
The songs of the
I can
Beatles?
still remember. We were singing. We all live in
the yellow submarine.
Fortunately, the priest did not understand at that time. They understood only French, so.
You did a good job.
Yeah.
That's great.
You have no Welsh accent.
Well, he was also trying to teach us the Welsh language.
How many languages do you speak?
Armenian. So this is our library of the manuscripts. Then we have here 5,000 Armenian manuscripts. 5,000 here, another 4,000 in Vienna, in our second monastery. So we have altogether 9,000. I was asking the Armenians, do you know how many manuscripts are they in the biggest collection in Yerevan? They know 11,000. So the biggest collection, the only collection that we can compare it to ours is in Armenia. So it is 11,000. We are just 35 monks, and we have 9,000. So I said that's why, especially today, not only because for what we have done throughout these 300 years of our existence, that the Armenian nation and history have a good words towards our congregation, but especially for this patrimony. They are really, I can't tell you how important they are for not only the Armenians, but also for the entire world, because here we have maintained our history, our traditions, our poetry, ancient poetry, medicine, astronomy, science, everything. So, although we are priests, we did not wait our priests did not go to Armenia to collect only spiritual books or Gospels or Bibles, anything. So that's how also, yeah, everything. As I said, al cavallo non si guarda in bocca. We don't look at the mouth of a horse. How? Pardon me? Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I was trying to make the transition from Italian. Ispenian era il benefattore che ha fatto questo, non costruito. Era un franco armeno, come questi signori. Era un armeno della Francia. Ricco.
E generoso.
Generoso e poi ricco. So, we have 25 minutes. So, here we have also, in our collection, we have the most ancient Armenian manuscripts. Especially the most ancient one is from the 7th century, 682. 682. After Jesus.
Still reading very well.
Yes, it's wonderful. It's exceptional space of conservation. We are trying to do it. It's very, very expensive. But yes. Actually, there is we're trying to do it with there are Benedictine priests in the United States. They have this important collection of digitalization of all Eastern language manuscripts. So Syriac, and among them they have done quite a lot in Lebanon, Syria, and Armenia, and yet they want to do also with ours. But nonetheless, we are doing also by ourselves. So there's the Venice, il grande galante, è molto galante con noi, il grande of Venice, Veneto, they are helping us for this kind of work also. Par les prêtres néctaristes, par nous seulement. So I also mentioned and showed those two books, which are the first Armenian printed books, and they were printed here in Venice in 1512. 1512. Alors,
That was fun.
It was a fabulous
Wow. amazing time.
Che fortunaccia che ci abbiamo avuto oggi,
Wow.
I'm having trouble with the button pushing down on several shots.
Are you?
Yes,
I'm not.
I am.
Probably hard with your gloves and your nails and all that stuff. See? That worked out pretty easy. There's your boat. Doesn't look like our first one though. That's a 219. Old boat. But we'll take it.
E dai!
Nope, that is 20. Albertico. Ja. Alberto.